Hey guys, R14 back at it once again for a brand new video for you, and welcome to round 14 of our Formula 1 2012 season race reviews, and we've now switched to F1 2012 for this Singapore gameplay footage. So, without further ado, let's talk about the Singapore Grand Prix that's just gone off the air. Sebastian Vettel cruised pretty much to his second Grand Prix, only his second win of the season, ahead of Jenson Button in second place and Fernando Alonso third. The race got off to a pretty, it was a pretty boring first half of the race. Obviously, Hamilton got away clean. Pastor was passed by Sebastian Vettel into turn 3, and then it was just pretty much those two with sort of a small gap ahead of Button, then Maldonado and Alonso. Things got interesting around the halfway point. This is a very long race, Singapore, but around the halfway point, after a quite boring first half, Lewis Hamilton had to retire the car. It seemed like he'd lost all drive all of a sudden. So I'm not sure what exactly what the 100% of the problem was. Again, as always, I know somebody will comment on the video saying what it was. This happens every week, so I know it's going to happen. It's just a matter of when. But I think Hamilton had to pull the car and retire, as did Pastor Maldonado under the first safety car, which I'll get to in a minute, for hydraulic issues. Horrible luck for Pastor Maldonado. Probably deserved a podium finish. Seemed to have hydraulic issues. Had to retire it. That makes a streak now of 9 consecutive non-scoring finishes for Maldonado. You've got to wonder, is his job under the hot seat? Is Bruno Senna going to make way soon? Because Senna had to retire as well from 18th. Not a great result for him either. He retired towards the end of the race. There was 2 safety cars in the second half of the race. Narain Carter Kayan caused one of them after crashing into the chicane under the bridge in the final sector, which brought out the safety car. Almost caused a horrible crash on the restart as the safety car was pulling ahead. Vettel controls the pace and Button misjudged it and almost went into the back of Vettel. Great reactions from the Brit to not crash into the back of him there, but the second safety car was caused almost immediately after the restart as Michael Schumacher locked the tyres once again in an almost carbon copy of his crash at Catalonia with Bruno Senna. He went into the back of Jean-Eric Vergne and they both had to retire. Very classy about it, and there was no fisticuffs, even though it would have been pretty funny to watch. But that caused another safety car, and after that, that pretty much confirmed that for the first time in 21 years in Formula 1, since 1991, there's been a Grand Prix that's been fully run in the dry, but wasn't run the distance due to the fact they ran out of time. Remember, there's a 2-hour time limit on any Formula 1 race, and they only managed to complete 59 of the scheduled 61 laps. As a result of this, Singapore is without question the longest track of the year, mainly because of the fact it's a street circuit, and street circuits' average speeds tend to be lower. They all try to make sure the race is about 300 kilometers. Singapore is quite a short track, but the average speed is so low, hence why it's not long on lap duration. Like 61 laps is far from the longest on the calendar, but it feels longer because the lap times are so slow. I mean, it was 1 minute 51 was the fastest lap of the race, set by Nico Hülkenberg towards the end. So you're looking at nearly 2 minutes a lap once you factor in things like pit stops and safety cars. But anyway, here's the full rundown. Sebastian Vettel wins, Jenson Button second, Fernando Alonso with another key podium in third. A career-high finish for Scotland's Paul di Resta in Force India. A fantastic 4th position for them. Paul sending a message there to everyone else looking for drivers for next year. That's a message of intent right there. Fantastic 4th place from him. Nico Rosberg, a very solid 5th place for the Mercedes team. Kimi Raikkonen again in the points for 6th place, ahead of his teammate Romain Grosjean in 7th on his return following his 1-race suspension. Felipe Massa, great drive from the Brazilian. I think he suffered a puncture on the opening lap, had to pit, made the strategy work for him and ended up in 8th place. So 4 very well earned points for Felipe Massa and the Ferrari team. And then the 2 Australians, Daniel Ricciardo in the Toro Rosso, getting 2 points ahead of Mark Webber in 10th, who gets the last points position. Sergio Perez in 11th. And as I said, Nico Hülkenberg with the fastest lap of the race. He finished 14th. He did a 151.0. Now, this means the World Championship table, looking at it as it stands right now, it's definitely a lot more spread out following this. Obviously, Hamilton getting a 0 as a result of this, and Vettel's 25. Or you could say that's probably karma for Valencia more than anything else. The World Championship now looks like this. Fernando Alonso leads the World Championship with 194 points. He has a 39-point lead ahead of Sebastian Vettel on 165. Kimi Raikkonen is now up to third in the world title race on 149 points. Lewis Hamilton, obviously, with his 0 means he's stuck on 142 in 4th. Mark Webber in 5th with 133 points. And then Jenson Button, 18 points, helping out his, let's be honest, slim chances of the World Championship hopes. Now in 6th on 119. Nico Rosberg now overtaking Romain Grosjean for 7th with 93 to Grosjean's 82. And that is your lot from Singapore. If anything else you want to discuss, comment below, let me know. I'd love to hear. But just one thing, I want to give Sebastian Vettel my extreme heartfelt respect for dedicating his win to Professor Sid Watkins, who very sadly passed away last week, as we know. They had a minute's silence before the race started. Incredibly classy and a respectful thing to do for Sebastian Vettel. It's possible not to like that guy, in my opinion. I'm a huge fan of Vettel, obviously, and that's a fantastic result from him and a very classy way to win in Singapore, which is the first ever back-to-back winner in Singapore now. So, yeah, I've been Harrison. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let me know what you thought of the Singapore Grand Prix below, and I will catch you next time. Sayonara.